Well, the infamous Fyre Festival promised superstars, luxury and fine dining in a Caribbean paradise. Instead, it became a fiasco that left founder Billy McFarland sentenced to 6 years in jail, owing $26 million to investors, which remains unpaid. Here's a reminder of what's been called the biggest fraud in music festival history, immortalised in a hit Netflix documentary.
The actual experience exceeds all expectations. It is something that's hard to put into words. All these things that may seem big and impossible are not. It gives people that type of energy.
Island getaway turned disaster.
It became very barbaric.
American rapper Ja Rule is in the Bahamas with his business partner.
Billy McFarland
is an amazing entrepreneur.
He could convince anyone of pretty much anything.
They just bought an island.
Pablo Escobar's island.
Within 48 hours,
they sold out.
When thousands arrived in the Bahamas for the Fyre Festival, after paying up to $1,500 for a ticket and $12,000 for a VIP experience, they found a millennial nightmare.
It was basically the exact opposite of everything we were promised.
Prosecutors say cost investors and customers over $26 million. The promoter behind the botched Fyre Music Festival in the Bahamas has been sentenced now to 6 years in prison.
Well, Billy McFarland went to prison and he joins me now. Billy McFarland, thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Piers, thank you for having me on your platform. Huge opportunity. Thank you.
So, look, I watched the Netflix documentary and it was like watching a slow-moving pile-up on a freeway for you, motorway for us, where it just seemed pretty obvious quite early on this was not going to work, and the bigger the hole you dug, the worse things got. Was that how it felt for you?
Well, Piers, first, you are braver than me because I've never watched documentaries and still can't get myself to do it, but I was just so wrong. And I'd like to, start with telling you what I thought that I was trying to do. So I thought that I was taking these different people from diverse backgrounds and bringing them together through adventures and experiences. And when this was happening, it was almost like I found my little slice of magic in the world as these people were forming relationships and sharing ideas. And I really just wanted to share this with everybody. And I was just so wrong in my approach to do that.
Well, hang on. Look, I'm sorry, but your attempt to make yourself out to be some magic maker, keen on spreading diversity, it all sounds great now. But the truth is you were trying to fleece them all for cash. That's why you ended up in prison for so long. I mean, it was a money-making vehicle. Your intention was not to, get a load of happy campers together and spread love and diversity and a bit of magic. It was to empty their wallets, wasn't it?
I was so wrong, and I lost everything I had in the process and lost the support, the relationships, and the trust of all of my friends and all of my investors and all of my team members. As crazy as it sounds for me, sitting here looking back at all the terrible decisions I made, I truly thought that I was going to pull off this event. That does not excuse the lying to investors that I did to try to get the capital that I thought I needed. And Piers, I was wrong. I messed up.
I mean, you're planning another festival now called Pirate, I think, which is probably quite appropriate. But why should anybody trust you either with money as an investment or buying a ticket to this thing, given what happened before, given you've not paid off all the people who lost money last time?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And in my mind, there's two ways to look at in my mind, there's two ways to look at this. And I think that one option is to essentially crawl in a hole and die of remorse. And I think that's something a lot of people probably want. But then how does everybody get paid? And for me, I need to find pride in my life by at least trying to right my wrongs and make it up to everybody that I hurt.
I mean, you went to prison for quite a long time. What was that experience like?
Yeah, so served around 4 years. And I just kept making it worse and worse upon myself. I actually ended up spending 309 days in solitary confinement. So for the first period of my life, I was really forced to sit in timeout and reflect on terrible decisions and try to understand what makes me tick as a human and how I could try to do something positive moving forward.
I mean, look, I don't know you. I know what a lot of people have said about you. It's not flattering, as you know. I obviously am aware a lot of people lost a lot of money, and that's a serious situation. It was a crime for which you've paid your price, and it was a pretty big price to pay. would you categorise yourself as somebody who was, a criminal mastermind, or as somebody that perhaps others might say was just a massive bullshitter on the make, who thought he'd get away with it, and unfortunately, all his chips fled from red to black?
I think what just disgusts me the most, Pierre, especially during those 10 months where I had nothing to look at, but a concrete wall and myself, is that I was trying for 6-7 years to build and launch startups, and I formed great relationships over those period. And the fact that I just took advantage of those relationships, all for this purpose of trying to be successful or big or well-known, and it was just disgusting and awful.
What's the one thing you've really learned about yourself, Billy?
You just can't attach your personal pride to success or any idea of success. And it's more about the relationships and the bond you find along the way. And I was just so insecure and thought that my personal self-worth would be executing a big festival that made everybody rich and happy. And that's just so incredibly wrong. And it's how I can find that pride and self-worth in my day-to-day, regular life.
Do you ever wonder what would have happened if it had worked?
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions is even if the festival succeeded, I still would have gone to jail. I lied to investors to raise the money. So even if people made money and all the ticket holders met great people and had the weekend of their lives, I would have been sitting in jail for years. So there's no excuse, Piers.
Well, and to those who, you owe money to, who are disgusted you're having another festival, what do you say finally to them?
And once again, it's I need to find pride somewhere in life. And my pride, hopefully in 60 years from now, when I'm on my deathbed, is that I spent the majority of my adult life trying to right my wrongs. So I'm going to go out there and work. I'm going to work honestly. I can't promise that I'm going to succeed, but I can promise I'm getting help where I need it and trying to focus on my skill set. And whatever I do will go towards paying everybody back.
Okay. Well, on one positive note, you got the right name for the festival, Fyre, because that's what it went all up in. Billy McFarland, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.